Well, hello everybody and welcome to Mikey Taylor Gaming, where today we're taking a look into the world of the glitchiest game that was ever created. No, I don't mean you, get out of here. We're obviously talking about Ocarina of Time glitches for the N64. Now, I know a ton of you guys have seen thousands upon thousands of Ocarina of Time glitch videos in the past, but I guarantee to you there's some stuff in here that you have never seen before. And they just get juicier the further on into the video that you go. So without further ado, let's get on with this and I hope you all enjoy. Now, I know I always say we're going to save the best till last, but today, why don't we scrap that idea and take a look at the most awesome glitch that I'm going to be able to show you guys today. If you've played through the game and found the hover boots, head up to Goron City and take a look at this platform outside of the entrance. Pop the hover boots onto Link's jagged little N64 feet. Look how cute they are, they're just so polygony. Then climb onto the platform. The rock at the front will push Link off and make him hover. If you decide to pick the rock up whilst Link is hovering, it'll get stuck inside him when he drops to the ground. The weirdest part about this is just how casual he is about it though. Running around like, rock? What rock? I've literally got no idea what you're talking about. Oh wait, hang on, you mean this one, right? Let me just get rid of that. Silly me, I didn't even know it was there. Okay, so maybe I was a little sarcastic about this glitch being the best one we're going to see today, so in comparison, this one might just blow your socks off. Little bit of sarcasm again. As Child Link, hide underneath the Hylian shield and then open up the options menu to change over to the Deku shield. If you carry on holding the shield button and close the menu, Link will start floating around 3mm off the ground while still defending himself. A totally worthwhile one to show you guys, huh? But wait, there's more. If you do it the other way around and swap from the Deku shield to the Hylian shield, it's still glitched. Link will be defending himself with his fist, like he's telling a group of kids to stay off his lawn. Hey you kids, stay away from my lawn with that ball or else I'll turn into adult Link. Yeah, that'll scare you. Alright, I swear we're going to take a look at some more interesting stuff now. Starting with a soft lock that you can activate against the boss of the Shadow Temple, Bongo Bongo. When you reach the pit that drops you down into the boss battle, you can drop a bomb at the last second which you can see falling alongside Link during the cutscene to start the fight. When this bomb explodes, it'll cause damage to the boss which interrupts the cutscene and instead triggers his attack pattern to start. Because of this, you'll be stuck with Link on the screen just being bounced around. The camera will never fix itself and you'll never regain control of Link since the cutscene will never finish. That means that the only way out of this one is a reset. Hope you saved recently. If for some unexplained reason you just love getting yourself stuck forever, there's another soft lock that's way easier to do and in my opinion it looks a lot better too. Head to Gerudo Valley with just one heart left, a couple of bombs and find the cuckoo that's hanging around up here near the camp. Pick the cuckoo up and put it close to the edge of the cliff, then throw a bomb at it. Before the bomb has chance to explode, jump off the edge of the cliff and when it does explode it'll set off the angry cuckoo cutscene whilst Link is diving through the air. When this cutscene is triggered, all collision with water is deactivated, so Link will fall right through the surface, hitting the bottom of the river and taking away the last heart of health that he had. And that's it. You're stuck with Link's head buried under the riverbed, which I can only say does not look comfortable at all. You okay there, Link? You want me to just leave you alone? Yeah, I think you're okay. Tell me, what's the point in having a title like Ocarina of Time if you can't activate a couple of glitches by using the main gimmick of the game? With a simple trick you can use a ton of items as if they were an ocarina in a glitch called Ocarina Items. Well, I can guarantee there isn't going to be a creativity award for the person that named this one. Before we try this one out, we've got to quickly set up our items. You've got to have either a bottled fish or bottled bugs on one of the C buttons and have another equipable item on another C button. With your items all set up, release whatever is in the bottle onto the ground and catch it back in the bottle again straight away. Now run off a ledge and in mid-air you want to quickly use the bottle again and then select the item you want to use as the ocarina before Link hits the ground. When he touches down, he'll be holding the item that you chose at his mouth, ready to play any of the songs that you've learnt throughout the journey. So you can activate cutscenes with, let's say, a Deku stick, instead of using the actual ocarina. You can use this glitch anywhere without even having to jump off a ledge too, if you're quick enough to swap the items after doing a backflip. So have fun with it. Train yourself in the art of ocarina items until you can do it with your eyes closed. I mean, I'm not going to make you do it, but it is important to a glitch that we're going to see later. Just one teensy tiny thing, I probably should have warned you guys about this one too. You've got to be kinda careful when you're using this glitch because some of the items that you try to play will turn into bottles after playing them. So maybe try not to overwrite any items that you're gonna need throughout the rest of the game. Now, if this ocarina glitch wasn't quite enough to get you excited, then the next one definitely won't be either, because it's a lot less impressive than ocarina items. But it does involve fire, which makes everything cooler. Not literally though, obviously. If you want to see Link playing an ocarina all nonchalant even though he's engulfed in flames, it's pretty easy to do actually. Have a fairy in a bottle and make your way up to the Death Mountain crater without wearing the Goron tunic, so that the countdown to death timer starts up in the corner. Wait for the timer to get down to about 1 or 2 seconds remaining, then jump off the ledge so that Link dies in mid-air. Dying like this will let him land on top of the lava without resetting him to the entrance, which will cause the fairy to revive him on top of the lava. Right before Link is fully healed, mash the ocarina button and if you hit it on the right frame, he'll be playing the ocarina whilst flames totally cover him. You're on fire, Link. Come on, you guys come up with a better joke in this situation. Seriously. I suppose if you don't want to be reset to the entrance of Death Mountain Crater, then you could use a warp song to be taken somewhere else. Massively helpful. It'll save you like half a heart or something. In honesty, this is just another great, useless glitch. You know, the kind of glitch that we love. This game is so full of glitches, if you haven't already noticed, that you can activate this one on demand with absolutely zero effort. Honestly, it's so simple you've probably done it before and you haven't even realised. Crouch stabbing. Hiding behind your shield using R and pressing B to stab. A simple technique and it's fair to say it's probably also the most overpowered attack in the entire game too. Don't believe me? Well, let's take a look, shall we? The developers of Ocarina of Time didn't actually program a damage value for the crouch stab attack, so how does the game determine how much damage it's supposed to do? Easy. It takes the value of the last attack that Link did and uses that amount of damage for your crouch stabs. You've all seen those speedruns where Gohma is defeated in seconds, right? It's because the crouch stab is being used right after a Deku Stick jump slash. All attack damage in the game can be transferred to a crouch stab like this, but there's one weapon that we can even use the effects of through the sword, and you might be surprised to hear that it's the Megaton Hammer. Yep, I am not kidding either. Using the Megaton Hammer not only transfers its damage over, but also its effects into a crouch stab, which means you can activate rusty switches with it and smash boulders to pieces with a teensy weensy stab. Damn, forget the big Goron sword, a little crouch stab is all we're gonna need to be the most powerful guy in Hyrule. Stabby stabby stab. What kind of game would this be if there wasn't a glitch like swimming in the air? These are always epic, like the ones we've seen previously in the Spyro the Dragon series. It's fair to say that this one isn't quite as useful, but at least it looks great. All you're gonna need to get this one working is the iron boots and a pool or lake of water with a shoreline that you can walk up and down into. Once you've gotten yourself ready, it's all about item swapping. Have Link walk into the water until he's swimming, then spin him around so that he's facing the shore you just used to get into the water. Hold the Z button to target and start swimming back towards the shore. Press the start button and equip the iron boots mid-swim, and before you leave the menu keep on holding Z and up on the control stick and Link should carry on swimming after the menu is closed. Keep having him swim closer and closer to the shore and eventually he'll just follow the slope up onto dry land. Strange to see considering he struggles to walk in these things, never mind levitate and swim in the air whilst wearing them. If you head to the main menu from here and switch back to the Kokiri boots, Link will carry on swimming in the air even after you release the Z button and the analog stick. Also fair to say, you should try out some of the items while this glitch is active. Some of them can make Link look a little stupid. Not as stupid as when he didn't realise a rock was stuck inside him earlier though. Nope, definitely not that stupid. There's a little oversight that you can find in Gerudo Valley when you're riding Epona. There's one tent that you can just about squeeze Link into whilst he's riding on the back of her. Just fidget around and soon enough you'll hit the loading zone, landing him inside the tent without her. From here, pull out the ocarina and play the Serenade of Water to be warped over to Lake Hylia and you should see something strange right from the get-go. Epona appears at the warp point, Link is invisible, and using any items whilst this glitch is activated shows a view from underneath Epona for some reason. If you decide to go for a swim, there won't be any ripples in the water, and as a bonus, no enemies will be able to harm Link either. It's like he's turned into a ghost or something. This is a bit of a different glitch for sure, but it isn't permanent. To put everything back to normal, you just have to head to another area to reset all of the flags. Finally, something cool that doesn't softlock the game. Am I right? We all know how annoying Navi can be in this game with her constant
Blue, hey, listen, hey, listen.
Alright, okay, we get it. Just stop. Stop it, please. I'm sure that at some point we've all thought about leaving her behind after hearing these quotes hundreds and hundreds of times. At least, I know I have. Well, if you've had the same thoughts, there's a way to get us stuck at the altar inside the Temple of Time. All you've got to do is be in the temple as Adult Link, check the altar, then play Saria's song and talk to her. Once the text is finished, you should be able to move Link around without having Navi glued to him all the time. This is obviously only temporary, and she's still only a short distance away, but still, giving Link 10 meters of space, he should be eternally grateful for this one. It's really a shame that it's not permanent. There's always that one collectible item in Zelda games that you wish you didn't need to find to get 100% completion because of how long it takes to scout it out. Especially if all you get for your efforts is a stinky, shiny poop. Isn't that right, Breath of the Wild? In this game though, instead of a massive 900 Korok seeds, we've got a much easier 100 golden Skulltula tokens to collect. But if you can't be bothered with the hunt, don't worry about it. You can get an unlimited amount of them from the exact same place using another simple trick. First off, you need to use the Song of Storms to open up the grotto found next to Hyrule Castle and jump on in there. Then bomb the wall down here to uncover the golden Skulltula and defeat it however you want to. Now, I'd say this is the tricky part, but even this is easy. Throw the boomerang to grab the token and move into the light that takes you out of the grotto before it gets back to Link. The message should start to show saying that you got the token before it gets interrupted by the screen transition. If you check your inventory, you'll see that you've collected the token, but if you head back down into the grotto, you can defeat the Skulltula again for another one. Rinse and repeat the process until you've cheated your way to the entire 100 golden Skulltula tokens. I suppose if you really wanted to, then you could go beyond 100 golden Skulltulas if you felt like it, but I didn't spend enough time doing this because I'm totally lazy, so if you want to know what happens after 100 Skulltula tokens, you're gonna have to try it out for yourselves, I'm afraid. There's an interesting glitch that revolves around the sometimes painfully boring fishing minigame at Lake Hylia. There's a way to steal the rod from the game using a pretty simple glitch if you're using version 1.0 of the game. For players of any other version, there's another way, but it's a little bit more difficult. For all of us smart people using 1.0, head to the minigame, equip the hover boots and then pay for a round of fishing. Run over to the old fishing hole and onto the water using the boots, then quickly cast the rod whilst hovering. Link should throw the lure out and then drop into the water, letting him run around freely whilst the rod is cast, and that's it. If you want to escape with the rod, the owner won't even put up a fight, just leave through the front door. For you guys on other versions of the game, it's still pretty easy to get this glitch working, so don't worry. Just have Link dive under the water in a shallow section, and when he surfaces you'll notice that he does a little jump out of the water. Mash the cast button when he does this jump, and with good timing he should cast the rod and fall into the water, just like he did with the hover boot method. Then you're free to steal the rod again. Now that you've escaped to the overworld with the rod, you can basically put any other item over the B button by doing a few quite specific things. It would have been really handy to know just how specific this was before I started recording everything, because intricate glitches ruin my upload schedule. I'll save you the troubleshooting and tell you how to do it straight off the bat, shall I? That way you won't have to get annoyed with everything like I did. First off, as Child Link, you're going to have to use up all of the Deku Sticks in your inventory so that the counter shows 0. Head back into the Temple of Time, transform back into Adult Link, and then go to Lake Hylia to steal the rod again. Outside of the minigame, jump into the lake, climb back out, then enter and exit your menu to change the rod into a Deku Stick. With the Deku Stick covering the B button, use the Ocarina items glitch from earlier to turn it into an empty bottle. This step is why you need to break all of the Deku Sticks in the first place, as I found out. If you try to duplicate a bottle over the Deku Sticks when there are more than 0 of them, the game will just crash on N64 because Adult Link shouldn't be able to use them. So yeah, that's the information I missed and the game kept crashing, so definitely don't miss that part out. As soon as you've got that bottle over your B button, you're all set to put any other item over it by heading to the Temple of Time, dropping the Master Sword to turn into Child Link, and then putting whichever item you want on your Adult Link B button onto C right. When you pick up the Master Sword again, the item that you did put on C right will be over the B button instead. But what's the benefit to this glitch, you might ask? Well, there's definitely more to it than you might first be thinking. Having another item over the B button means that wherever you can use your sword, you can now use that item instead. Simple things to start off, like bombs can be used inside the Temple of Time when normally they can't, for example. I mean, you definitely can't throw one bomb, never mind a barrage of them like this. But as well as things that don't have any consequence, you can also use items like Farore's Wind to place warp points inside of temples which, if used correctly, can really mess up the game. Should we take a look? Yeah, of course we should. I can't leave you hanging like that. Use the glitch with Farore's Wind to leave a warp point inside the water temple, then make your way all the way to Gerudo Valley and glitch into the tent whilst riding Epona like we did in the glitch we saw earlier. This time, instead of playing the Serenade of Water inside the tent, use the Minuet of Forest to be taken to the Lost Woods. Then use Farore's Wind again to be taken back to the water temple. As soon as you touch down inside, exit the dungeon and you'll be pretty surprised by what you see, I'm sure of it. Doing all of this will cause you to enter into Lake Hylia, way up in the air, riding on the back of Epona. Have you ever seen anything like this? Good news is that this is just one of the many glitches that can be caused by having items on the B button. Just experiment with it and I'm sure you'll end up discovering a few things for yourself too. For anyone who's interested in finding out more about the technical side of the items on the B button glitch, I've put a link in the description and it's one confusing thing to get your head around, that's for sure. In fact, it nearly didn't make it into this episode, but aren't you glad it did? To show off some of the effects you've just seen, I even had to make use of another lesser known glitch called the Equip Swap glitch, which is a frame perfect trick that lets Link equip an item that he shouldn't be able to, like the long shot as Child Link, or the Deku Sticks as Adult Link. It's easy to do, but since it's frame perfect, it could take you a few tries to get right. All you have to do is head into the menu and highlight an item that's greyed out and can't be used. Then press the R button to go to the map screen, and press the Z button to go back to the item select screen again. As the menu is switching back, there's one frame that you can press up left and a C button which will cause the greyed out item to be equipped onto the C button that you pressed. Now, this really is a pointless one. Some of the items will work, kind of, like Child Link can equip the bow, but it'll actually be the slingshot. Other times the item that you're trying to use will just crash the game if it's not meant for the Link that you're using. It'll need a full reset because no buttons will work despite the A button telling you that you can put the item away or attack using it. Some weapons are interesting though. The Megaton Hammer works weirdly. It's invisible, it creates shockwaves sometimes, and when you're fighting you can swing it around as if you were Adult Link. See, we should have given Child Link a hammer earlier. He can obviously use it. I don't see what the issue was here. My absolute favourite use of this glitch is the Mask of Truth as Adult Link though. At first when I was using it, I thought all it did was remove Link's shadow from underneath him. But as I walked around, oh man, I noticed that it removes certain objects from the overworld. Put it on and take it off whilst walking around and patches of grass will appear and disappear. So will tree trunks, rocks and signposts. Something else I've discovered whilst wandering around the world with the mask as Adult Link is actors can get a little confused. If you talk to an actor without the mask on, everything will be normal, but putting the mask on will turn the actors invisible and talking to them again right away will change their dialogue, making them think that Link is in child form. As you can imagine, this was kinda weird to see, so I tried it all over Kakariko Village and most people changed their speech based on Link wearing the mask or not. It's pretty cool. A few of the people don't seem to think so though. They get a little creeped out by this. Maybe we should just leave them alone and get back to the point of why I'm showing this glitch off. The biggest benefit to us is for the items over B button glitch, because for some reason, having the long shot on C right as Child Link when you pick up the Master Sword will put Farore's Wind over the B button when you're Adult Link. Well, I did say that the technical side of this glitch is crazy, but if you do want to check it out, it's in the description. For now though, let's head back to looking at some glitches that aren't going to make our brains melt. That sounds lovely. I already know that every single person watching has seen a Navi dive at some point in your life, and if not, then how? Have you never seen an Ocarina of Time glitch video before? It's a simple trick to pull off. Make your way through the Lost Woods to the little pond that leads to Zora's River. Jump from the edge of the pond onto the stone entrance and then wait for a second until Navi prompts you to speak to her. When the prompt appears, quickly press B twice to make Link fall off the stone and do a jump slash, then speak to Navi as soon as you can. If you get it right, then Link will sink to the bottom of the pond when Navi starts talking to him, and when you get through the text you'll get control of him at the bottom of the pond, which gives you access to the Zora's River area early, for a huge sequence break. It's not the only place you can use a Navi dive to your advantage either. As soon as you reach Kakariko Village you can use a Navi dive to reach the bottom of the well in the exact same way we just used it. This time, jump over to the other side of the well, climb up, press the B button twice to fall and jump slash, and then hit C up to speak to Navi again. The water is a lot deeper this time, but it still works the same, taking you right down to the bottom. Apparently, physics aren't a thing down here anyway, since the water just kinda stops, right by the entrance for some reason. There's actually a second method of getting to the bottom of the well early too, using an alternate but just as easy dive known as a cuckoo dive. These cuckoos can be dangerous. You definitely don't want to annoy them with a sword. Unless you're attempting this glitch anyway. To set this one up, you need to attack a cuckoo twice so that the next attack will trigger the cutscene of angry cuckoos flocking after Link. Pick the cuckoo up, carry it over to the well and throw it onto one of the ledges. Climb up onto a ledge opposite the one you just threw the cuckoo on and quickly do a jump slash to attack it before it runs away. If you manage to get the last hit whilst Link is above the water, the cutscene will start and just like earlier, the water's collision will be deactivated, causing Link to sink straight to the bottom of the well, letting you explore the dungeon without ever drying it out. I'm not gonna lie, this one's a little tougher to activate because the cuckoo starts to run away after throwing it a little quicker than you would like it to. Persistence is key here guys, I know you can do it. We're leading up to the end of today's episode, but don't worry, there are still a few awesome glitches that I want to show off, and these are probably the best ones in the episode too. You've always got to save the best till last. This one you can see on screen here is called the Swordless Link glitch, clearly named because Link isn't carrying a sword with him whilst it's active. Kind of obvious, right? No creativity awards for this name either, I'm afraid. This is another one of those glitches that you'll be thinking, what's the point? But just like the others that you were thinking that about, once again there are a ton of ace glitches that can be caused by Link not having a sword. But before we look at those, we're going to need to know how to lose the sword first. There are two ways to do it, and both are at the final fight with Ganon. It's fair to say that again the easiest method can only be done on version 1.0 of the game, the initial first release. If you don't have that version, then you're going to have to do it the slightly harder way. So, the 1.0 exclusive first. Play through the Ganon fight like normal until he knocks the Master Sword out of Link's hand, then simply save the game from the pause menu and reset the console. Yep, it's that easy. You can even re-equip the Master Sword from the start menu when you load the game back up if you really want to, but don't do it if you're here to see glitches, which I think you might be. The second way to do it, if you're anyone else, is once the Master Sword gets knocked out of Link's hand, use the Ocarina Items glitch from earlier to play a warp song and escape from the fight. Still pretty easy if you were practicing those backflip Ocarina items like I told you to earlier. Either way that you get this working, now you're playing as Link that isn't holding onto a sword, so let's have some fun with it, shall we? I mean, I know you're still thinking what greatness could possibly come from this, but this is Ocarina of Time after all. We've seen some crazy things. Have you ever wanted to be able to use items whilst you're riding on the back of Epona? Either you've already guessed by me saying that, or you've already seen it in the other 215,602 Ocarina of Time glitch videos, but I'm going to tell you that by using Swordless Link, you can do just that. I don't really think this needs an explanation because it's so easy to get working, but all you have to do is jump on Epona as Swordless Link and use one of the items you have equipped on the C buttons, and hey presto, Epona items activated. Never has there been an easier glitch to get working either. Using the ocarina will make Link fall through Epona to start playing rather than riding on top of her. Once he stops playing, you'll be able to control both him and Epona at the same time, in a glitch called Remote Controlled Epona. More amazing names here. You can actually combine this one with the swimming in air glitch to get some pretty interesting results. Link can look kinda stupid depending on what you do. Whenever you're finished messing around out here, you can get back on Epona by pressing the A button to just slip through the floor and through Epona onto her back. So graceful. Other weapons will have different effects, but one of the best you can see using this glitch is definitely done by using the hookshot to grab onto something whilst you're riding. It'll latch onto the target and stay extended whilst Link remains on Epona's back. But wait for it. Wait for this. If you decide to get off Epona whilst the hookshot is holding onto something, Link will start floating at the same height as the hookshotted object. You can even guide him around in the air, and the hookshot won't stop you from having your floaty fun. Using this hookshot glitch, you can get out of bounds in places like Gerudo Valley by using it on the targets on the bridge. And even though there isn't much to see out here, who doesn't love a good out of bounds glitch? You can get a full view of the area that you're in by going out of bounds and making sure that Link's icon doesn't enter back into the main playing area on the minimap. When you start heading back towards the playable area, the camera will rotate, letting you see the whole place. Of course, there'll be a few missing objects as well, but that just makes it look even better. Using the same method, you can see the entirety of Lake Hylia from Out of Bounds too by hookshotting the very highest point of the Scarecrow on the roof of the observatory, then floating over to the northeast corner of the map. The scenery here is just about low enough to let Link pass over it and fly around outside the playing area to get this epic sunset view. You've got to be careful though, because there's an enemy in this corner that'll make you moon jump out of bounds if it touches you, and there really isn't much to do out here except for swim where you shouldn't be able to. If Link touches the ground whilst he's hovering like this, the game will softlock and he won't be able to move again from here unless an enemy hits him. But if there's nothing around to cause damage, then it's gonna need a full fat reset again, I'm afraid. To get out of this glitchy hover properly, you have to move Link over to the point that the hookshot is grabbing onto. When the point is touched, Link should moon jump and be able to roam around freely again. But what I think you really want to see is that if you get really close to the targeted object, Link will start to shudder harder and harder. If he touches the target whilst shaking like this, he'll do an even bigger moon jump. It's a real shame that it doesn't look like there are many interesting places to reach by using this glitch. So yeah, I think it's fair to say that using items whilst on Epona can be pretty screwed up. But in a good way, of course. Another feature, if you want to call it that, of using items on Epona is the ability to make a super thick purple fog appear in Lon Lon Ranch. Just head to the ranch during the day and accept the obstacle course minigame, and when it starts, pull out the ocarina to play the Song of Storms. When the game reloads the area, everything will be covered in that thick, purpley pinky fog. It doesn't really affect anything, it's just a weird one to see and it eventually wears off. It's kinda sad that you can't just leave the ranch and have the effect everywhere, but I know that's definitely something you guys all want to see, right? Luckily, I can show you a fog glitch that basically covers the entirety of Hyrule. Saving the best till last here. Trust me, you are gonna want to see this. For this one, you don't need any special items and you don't really need a specific setup. You just need to make your way through the game until you reach the cutscene that Sheik teaches you the Nocturne of Shadow. This will be the only chance in the entire game to get this glitch to work, so make the most of it. As soon as Link has learnt the song, have him exit Kakariko Village from the Hyrule Field exit, then instantly walk back into Kakariko. Walk a step or two past the entrance gate, hold R and walk backwards into Hyrule Field again. When the screen loads, pow! Instant fog everywhere. This fog is epic. It's coloured based on which area of the game you're in and what time of day it is. It'll follow you from area to area without having to be reactivated, and it just makes gameplay completely ridiculous in some areas where you can't see what you're doing whatsoever. Take the fog to the Lost Woods to see what it would look like if the whole place was on fire. The loading zones to each area are highlighted in blue, and the ones that take you back to the Kokiri Forest are in black, so getting through here is much easier if you don't know the way. You can also see through walls and certain textures in here, which makes for a pretty cool looking glitch. Head over to Lake Hylia for a creepy experience. You'll see that the water textures aren't always loaded here and you can see what it looks like with absolutely no water in it, even though it's completely the wrong colour. The Scarecrow's soil sometimes doesn't like to load properly here either. You'll also see that in some places textures can appear on top of the fog, like the windows found in the very, very blue Lon Lon Ranch. They're pretty bright compared to the rest of the area, don't you think? The waterfall leading into Zora's Domain looks pretty cool in yellow, but inside of Zora's Domain it's completely black, so that's not going to be easy to navigate. Same for Kokiri Forest actually. Absolute nightmare to navigate using only the minimap, trust me. Gerudo Valley also has some pretty cool texture oddities where everything is pink depending on what time of day you go there. Probably my favourite place to go using this glitch. It's that little waterfall. It looks epic in pink, it's like it's glowing. You can also see another pink waterfall if you look off the edge of the bridge too. There's something about water in this fog that just makes it look great. Playing around more and more with this glitch, you'll even find that certain attacks can cause the fog to change colour too, like the explosion of bombs, which is the only way I could find Epona to get around quickly in this mess. There's an absolute ton of mess to see using this glitch, and I highly recommend for you guys to stick your dusty old Ocarina of Time cartridge back into the N64, play up to here and test this one for yourself. And while you're at it, since this is pretty far on in the game, you could try out some of the other glitches that have been shown off today too. Most of them aren't difficult, and a lot of them can be done pretty early on in the game, so why not? What's your excuse?
Just do it!
For now though guys, that's the end of today's epically long glitch picnic. I just want to thank you all for the support that you've shown for the series over the past 4 years, and if anyone is interested, there's a Glitch Picnic Discord server that you can find in a comment that I'll leave down below. There's also a Patreon now, but I haven't really done any work on it. I'll leave that in a comment below as well, and if you want to support the channel like that, then feel free. But If you want to carry on supporting how you are now, then that's totally fine as well. I really do not mind. I hope you've all enjoyed, and with that, guys, I hope to see you all in the next video. And don't forget, I love you all. Mwah!